time you get asked that question, you can say, no, I have a plan and this is what I propose. I've already done the research, and they'll go, wow, I guess you guys are really ready. So that's what this is intended for, so you can really feel confident in your concept. I'm sure you all have a passion for coffee or tea. We broke it down into 10 tips. The first 7 are things you really need to get completed, done on paper, researched, written down, consulted with before you sign a lease, and ideally even before you start looking for a location. I know a lot of times you'll walk by a space, there's a sign for lease, you're like, wow, this would be perfect for my cafe. But maybe you haven't even done the research. You don't know if it's the right consumer or the customer demographic. You don't know what the customer traffic is through there. You don't know what the other tenants are that are coming, knowing who your customer is. And you want to be really specific. You even want to give names to them. You know, give Amy is my ideal customer, and Joey is my ideal male customer. He's 24 to 35. He's likes to ski, so you know he's active, or maybe he likes to be on the internet all day, or whatever. You want to give that ideal customer. Obviously, there's going to be people that fall outside that customer, but this is your majority customer that you're targeting your brand to. A lot of people forget signage. I've had clients, again, they sign a lease, they haven't negotiated their signage with the landlord, and even though a city allows them, say, 3 signs, they only negotiated 1 sign, so the landlord will only let them have 1 sign. So even before we find a space, believe it or not, we're drawing up actual physical spaces. If you have a consultant that's done enough of these, a lot of these spaces are typical shapes, they're typical widths and typical lengths. You're probably going to lease a space anywhere from 900, maybe 800 to 1,400 square feet. So we know kind of the basic shapes, and so we can just start laying out your space. Why this is helpful before you find a location? Because your business plan and your marketing plan probably has the amount of tables you need to have in there, the amount of turns or how many people you need to get in and out, and you're going to start showing that in the floor plan. It's really good to lay out the space according to your menu, according to your ideal front of the house atmosphere and flow. Your espresso equipment, all of that, it's really good to know where that's going to sit, because you need your water filters and things like that. So that's a discussion to have with your landlord basically too, because a lot of times they're going to help pay for some of this. So if they've seen that you've planned this out well and you're ready to go, you can negotiate some of those costs with them as well. So having a basic plan, and you don't have to stick to the exact one, but you know, having a basic plan is really good to go with. But if you have a sound plan and sound documents together, they usually are more negotiable in that start time. I want you all to remember that you can't let your passion override that it is a business. It's still a business.
I think Melanie did a fantastic job in that when I first came, I was thinking I need a business plan, but she actually went over it. It's not just a business plan. There's so much more that you got to think about.
It was empowering, actually, getting that information and knowing that we also have a source that we can call for consultation.
Melanie talked a lot about flow, which is, I think, something we could benefit from, and creating a cohesive brand identity through color, materials, and our brand statement.
I think that it gives, I mean, from my perspective and never having opened a shop before, it was good insight. There were things that I hadn't thought about.
It is a great thing to open a cafe, and then 6 months later, if you haven't done your homework, you're going to be closing that cafe. So she's trying to help everybody to minimize their risks and be profitable and successful in the end.
I'm the advocate for things they don't know, and things like the permit process, things like design and brand, and why something's coherent, and why a certain color brings on a certain psychology, and what's a warm material, what's not a warm material. So you need an advocate that has experience in the areas that you don't know. And creating a cafe, there's a lot of areas that cafe owners just don't know. The specific client is always somebody who appreciates that their business is a business, and we're targeting their business in our goals. So we're not just a design firm that designs to the latest trend or something. We're always designing to business goals and sound business trends that have been laid out. Customer research, so we're always targeting that. So the design's always going to be different. Now, we don't have a signature look. We don't have any of that. It's always tied to the location, the brand, the client, and the customer. It's always attached to that. There's a lot of hats, right? There's a lot of hats we're wearing. I mean, between my appraisal background, architecture background, and construction, it runs the gamut. So between the feasibility, the design and architecture permitting, and the construction, we cover it all. So that's why we're a unique advocate, really, to be able to talk to all those areas. The first step is to either email us or call, and we do a complimentary consult always the first time, so we can both see if it's a good fit for both of us, really. And then if that works, then we put a proposal together, and then we're off and running.